Looks like Trump and Zelensky are about to meet at the White House. Let's watch what CNN has to say about it, huh?
Counting down to a critical meeting that could reshape the future of Russia's war in Ukraine. Just days after his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump will hold talks with Ukrainian President Zelensky tomorrow at the White House. But Trump and Zelensky will not be alone. European and NATO leaders announcing today that they will be at Zelensky's side during the high-stakes sit-down.
Really? So what, NATO generals and NATO's going to be there? What are they going to be trying to say? Trying to keep, well, I don't even know. They want to, Zelensky wants into NATO, right? But that is definitely going to be one of the terms of Russia, that Ukraine does not become a member of NATO. So
Yet, with the memory of Trump and Zelensky's last Oval Office meeting still fresh in the minds of world leaders, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is dismissing concerns that tomorrow will be a repeat.
Country's in big trouble. Wait a minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Zelensky also speaking out this morning.
President Trump is not wrong. There's been a lot of death going on, a lot of destruction on both sides, and it's just not looking any better any day.
With the president of the EU, Zelensky laid out what needs to happen tomorrow as Trump says he is now focused on securing a peace deal rather than a ceasefire. CNN's Ben Wiedemann is in Kyiv. CNN's Kevin Liptak is at the White House. Ben, to you first. What are leaders in Europe saying about this upcoming meeting tomorrow between Trump and Zelensky, and now a lot of support for Zelensky by way of European leaders and NATO leaders?
Yes, well, they had this video call today. Ukraine's major supporters, along with President Zelensky, where they're really just sort of coordinating their positions in preparation for the meeting tomorrow in Washington. And I think, you played the clip from the Oval Office in February where Trump really laid into Zelensky. And I think that's at the top of the mind.
It seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? That seems like forever ago.
Of European leaders and obviously President Zelensky as they prepare for that meeting. The fear is that President Trump, who in the weeks leading up to the Alaska summit took a fairly hard line on Russia, on President Putin, has now switched. He's said that he wants to go straight for a final peace agreement, skipping a ceasefire altogether, which is very much the Russian line. So the worry is that President Trump, after the Alaska summit, has shifted somewhat, so they want to make sure that he gets back on an even keel. And in fact, the Polish foreign minister, Radoslaw Sikorski, put out a note on social media.
Why would Russia want to do it like that and not have a ceasefire? Well, one thing is Vladimir Putin will just call out that, okay, hostilities will end on midnight on this day, which tells all of his troops that they need to go in and ransack everywhere that they can, get ready to leave, so load up on as much shit as you can hold.
Yeah, saying that for peace to come, pressure must be placed on the aggressor, not the victim. Perhaps a reminder to President Trump who it was who invaded this country in the first place. And of course, the worry is that President Putin is...
This guy thinks... What does he think? Like, okay, yeah, yes, Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, and Vladimir Putin isn't going anywhere. Where he is right now, where they are in Ukraine, they're not going anywhere. That's just facts, man. You don't have enough people. They don't have enough people to keep the corpse grinder going. Jesus.
Is saying that he wants Ukraine to cede control of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, something the government here has flatly rejected.
That's the government, but the people there speak Russian. In Donetsk and Luhansk, that's the far eastern provinces. I believe I'm correct, but they have been in a civil war long before the Russians invaded. That was their Russia's lame premise of invasion in the first place, saying that they were liberating their people that were already being oppressed by the Ukrainian government in the easternmost regions of Ukraine.
Well as people who we spoke to today in the streets of Kyiv.
If some people come to your house and steal your kitchen, your bedroom, you say, okay, stay here. No, it's not okay. It's not.
Again, I get it, but it's conquest and it's war. And there's just only a couple ways of getting out of this shit. Really. What are you going to do? You're going to blow your way out of it? You're just going to fight your way out of it till everyone's dead? I don't know. I don't know if that's a great idea for everyone there in Kiev.
It's not good for us. We are freedom
It's not good
people
for anyone. None of this was good for anyone, honey. I don't mean to be disparaging, but it is super fucking serious.
I hope we don't take any piece of our lands.
So there really is resistance to this.
I don't believe that woman was just walking down the street and CNN found her for an interview. I don't believe that for a second. I suspect that she is put there by the Ukrainian government as well.
Idea that somehow, in order to achieve peace, Ukraine has to surrender large chunks of its territory. That area known as the Donbass, that's Donetsk and Luhansk, together is a manufacturing center of Ukraine. For Ukraine to surrender that would be a huge loss. And that explains why there's really so much resistance to this idea put forth by the Russian president. Frederica?
All right, Ben Wiedemann, thanks so much. All right, Kevin, to you at the White House now. Update us on what the administration is saying, not just about tomorrow's sit down with Zelensky and now
this was just
let's
an
call
hour
it his
ago,
entourage
hour
or
and
his
a half.
supporters, but also about Trump's meeting with Putin.
Yeah, and this meeting tomorrow is really shaping up to be quite a consequential moment. In all my years covering the White House, I don't remember another time when so many top leaders have kind of convened all at once at the last minute, which gives you a sense, one, of the urgency that they feel in trying to reach a peace in Ukraine, but also the urgency they feel in ensuring that they are not sidelined in how this all comes about. Now, the way I understand this will shape up tomorrow is that President Trump and Zelensky will meet individually with their delegations before moving on to this larger format meeting with the other European leaders. We have been hearing today from all three American participants in that summit with Vladimir Putin.
This is it. Trump is getting the entire gang together. Everyone that supported the war or been against that war. Everyone that spent money on it is going to be in the room today, huh? They're going to be in there.
On Friday, we heard from President Trump, who said that there was big progress made on Russia and stay tuned. But perhaps more importantly, we heard from the two advisors who were with him in that meeting, the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who were both framing that summit as a success and trying to explain why the president had moved away from this idea of an immediate ceasefire. Remember, he said going into the summit he would be disappointed if that was not a result. And he said afterwards that was no longer a goal of his. Rubio said that was because essentially Russia wouldn't agree to it, but what Witkoff said
wants to build
happened was that Russia made some significant agreements during those talks that in his view made it no longer necessary to do the ceasefire. They were going to skip ahead a step and go straight for this larger peace deal based on what he said were some significant concessions from the Russians. Listen to more of Steve Witkoff.
We agreed to robust security guarantees that I would describe as game-changing. We didn't think that we were anywhere close to agreeing to Article 5 protection from the United States, in legislative enshrinement within the Russian Federation, not to go after any other territory when the peace deal is codified, legislative enshrinement in the Russian Federation, not to go after any other European countries and violate their sovereignty.
So you hear there really kind of the most fulsome accounting of what happened over the course of that 3-hour summit from Witkoff. And just to delve into one of the things he said there.
So once the peace agreement starts, then the Russian Federation would have the responsibility to enact legislation through their bodies, their legislative bodies, and put it and codify it into law that Russia cannot aggressively move towards any of the countries that have come together in order to protect Ukraine, which is going to be if you go against France or basically NATO. If you go against NATO, then you've got a problem with the rest of us. So don't do all these things. Put it in your legislation. Therefore, you're breaking the law your own law when you do this, which makes it look publicly not as pretty. But if you run the entire propaganda machine of that country, then it really doesn't matter, does it? Considering. So yeah, it's a lot of pomp and circumstance, but yeah, they'll basically Ukraine will end up getting the same protection as NATO, but without being a member state of NATO. They'll get what was he saying, the Section 5 housing. It's what it ought to be. But to be honest, Russia is pissed off because of the NATO stuff too, because NATO exists for one singular thing: to stop Russia. NATO is literally there to stop the communist Russians from aggressing. So, yeah. Anyways, let's see what this. Yeah,
which is this idea of a security guarantee modeled after NATO's Article 5 clause that says an attack against one is an attack against all. Witkoff described that as essentially a workaround. Because Russia has said that Ukraine can never join NATO, this is a way to sort of provide assurance to Ukraine that once this war ends, Putin isn't able to kind of regroup and go after the rest of the country after a few years. Now, there are a lot of outstanding questions about what exactly that would look like, namely what the U.S. role in that would be.
Yeah. So yeah, they'd be getting Article 5 protection without the Article 5 of NATO. They wouldn't be a member state. They'd just be getting America's help. And clearly they're going to bring in all of the rest of the nations to sign up and give the okay, because they don't want them going and funding more of the war behind America's back, which is what I wouldn't doubt some of these shitheads doing, because they're making money hand over fist on war. Don't think we are not either. America is. Even though we're spending billions, our companies are raking all that money back in. The government's spending billions of dollars. That money doesn't just go right to Ukraine. It goes right to our freaking weapons manufacturers and right to making all of this stuff here and then shipping it over to there. So yeah, people are making lots of money over this war. And if you find profiteering off of war disgusting, you should like, share, and subscribe to this video, because it is disgusting. You should comment down below how you feel about it and let everyone know exactly what you think about the war profiteering, because it's disgusting. We need to end the frickin' wars, get out of these other nations, and let everyone else live their lives. Anyways, I hope you have a beautiful afternoon. See ya.